Assalamu alaikum. We are here at the final programming of ACC's Ramadan specials. We've cooked together, we've had fundraising events, we've done story times, we've done it all. And I hope you guys all had a great time. And this is the grand finale. We have a paint party. So the artist that we've invited today is Fatmata Koroma. She is incredibly, incredibly talented and artistic in so many ways. She's a personal friend of mine, and she joins us today to teach us how to make this blank canvas into something beautiful. So welcome, Fatmata.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hakima, thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you and inviting me for this. I'm so excited to partner with a continuous charity and to sort of teach everyone who's at home today, and hopefully will join in, bring the kids, bring anyone that they'd like to just have some fun with. Grab your supplies that will be, of course, listed. You can kind of rewatch and do this at any time. So when Hakima was selecting the painting that we were going to paint, I will say this to you all. I was like, is
it going to be difficult?
I would say in difficulty level, it should be an adventurous beginner intermediate level. So I think that's perfect. I think kids will enjoy. I think adults will have enough of a challenge where it's engaging and fun. So sometimes I show the painting beforehand. Other times I like to keep it a surprise. And for this one, I think it is one of those that would be helpful for us to kind of ease into it, because once we have a bit of things on our canvas, and then I can give you a peek to kind of show you where things are in relation to the final painting. At the beginning, sometimes it can stifle us.
So all right. So one more step before we get started is to go live on Instagram.
Yes. Okay. So I am going live. I've never gone live on my Instagram, so I'm really excited. And I'm going to bear with me, you all, because how do you use this thing? Hi, that's me. Okay, great.
Okay. You're live.
Right, so I'm going live. Is it on? Wow, I really am like, is it on?
I don't see you pop up just yet. Let me just go out of the app and come back in.
Again. Hold on. What I know? That can't be that I have to hold it down.
No, you should be able to just tap it, and then it'll say you're now live. Did you do it?
Oh, checking connection. I think something. I'm live. Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I'm here with a continuous charity. Hakima is going to join us in a minute. We are doing a live paint party. I hope you got your supplies. I'll give it a minute. Hi, wave. Yes, join. Come. Hello. How can I?
There we go.
There we go. Yay! I think I'm now live with Hakima. Come on in.
I hope I'll be able to
everyone.
Hear you through this.
We are doing. Here you are, Hakima. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome.
Okay. Walaikum salam. Good. Alhamdulillah. We are live on both streams. So let's give Instagram a little bit of a preview, just like you did for StreamYard, as to what we're doing.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So I'm here with a continuous charity, and this is the final event of their Ramadan series, and we are going to be doing a paint party. See the canvas? See me? I will be instructing on painting a beautiful mosque scene as we prepare for Eid, inshallah. So if you have not already checked on ACC's Instagram, you'll see the full list of supplies. If you need to, you can always go grab your supplies, come back. But we have our material set up, and we are just about to dive in. I'll do a review of all of the materials you'll need, and then we'll just dive into the painting. For Instagram, for you all, I will have everything facing the canvas, just so you know, and then we'll move forward.
Okay.
All right, so materials time. So if you saw the posting, you should have the following materials, but just want to do a review quickly so everyone has what they need. So an 11 by 14 canvas or the canvas of your choosing. But I felt like this was a substantial enough size. We need the following paintbrushes. So you want a large paintbrush about the width of 1 inch. Then you want about a 1/2 inch paintbrush. We'll call this the medium paintbrush.
Okay.
And then you want a small paintbrush, right?
Okay.
So small in comparison to the others, but then you want like a micro mini paintbrush. So really, really tiny, and that's for fine details. So those are the 4 paintbrushes that we'll be using in today's session. The colors that you want to get were blue,
Okay.
red,
Red,
black,
black,
white,
white,
purple. I like to mix my purple, so I'm going to be doing that. And then like a smidge of yellow if you have it.
Okay,
but we
got all of those.
Yes. Okay, perfect. The remaining things for mixing would be a paper plate, which is what I often use for my mixing.
Okay.
Want a container of water, and if you're anything like me, Talenti is the brand that we use.
That's some good ice cream. Gelato. Yeah, gelato.
Yes. And then some paper towels for drying off our brushes when we're ready. And a 6-well paint container. And that's helpful for just holding your paints if you'd like. I also sometimes just put them dolloped on the edges of my paper plate. So I think those are all of the materials. Now, as I mentioned, I like mixing my purple. And if you love mixing colors, then you can join me if you didn't get purple picked up at the store. And the way that I like to mix my color, I would just go in with 2 parts red, which my parts, I'm just dolloping it in there. And then I want as much, about equal parts white.
So someone commented on Facebook, Yasmin Amatullah Haq. She says, I wish I wasn't at work so she could come along.
Yes, well, please catch the recording of this, and hopefully you can get together with a few folks or even Zoom and then have everyone watch
and just redo
it. Yep. So that's what I love about these technology. In some ways, it's unfortunate that we can't all be together maybe in the same ways, but we're able to kind of collaborate and meet up in ways that we probably wouldn't have in the past. So call up those folks, get them, set a date, get your materials, and please, please, please come back, rewatch, and enjoy yourself. I think painting can be so therapeutic. So I hope everyone that's joining us today will feel the same. So I'm just getting my final layers. As you can see, the colors coming together so beautifully.
Oh,
nice. I have a really nice lilac going there.
Should it be more lilac? Because I have a purple and I would want to mix it with white if I needed to. Should I mix it with a little white?
You will be in a moment. Yes. So for the first sort of the background that we're going to do, absolutely. What you want to do first is go ahead and put, you want to go ahead and put 2 dollops of white on your paper plate. So we're going to be mixing the background color, and I'd love for it to be like a milky pink sky. So with your largest brush, you're going to go ahead and put 2 dollops. So I use my paintbrush and just collect some paint. And then I put that right on the paper plate, as you can see here. Showing Instagram as well. And then I take my second dollop with my paintbrush again. And then I go ahead and add that right onto the paper plate. There we go.
Okay.
And then I take a smidge. How do you even measure a smidge, right? So I take a smidge of red because we can always add more, right? So I go in with my large brush, haven't cleaned it or done anything. I just dip it right there. That's a smidge. That's enough for me. just a smidge. And then I'll go ahead and start mixing that into the dollops of white that I had already put on my paper plate. So we're just going to get a beautiful pink color. If I haven't said so already, happy Mother's Day to all the amazing mamas out there. Happy Mother's Day, Hakima.
Oh, to you too. We both have 2 kids about the same age apart from each other.
You've been shown me how it's done. So,
Mashallah.
Mashallah. So that's my pink color. Let me take a look at yours. You did so well. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to start applying that very liberally to the center of the canvas. So because this is going to be the background, I'm not too worried about getting it to the edges. So I'm going to leave the edges of the canvas free. I'm really focusing on the top half center of the canvas. And look at how beautiful it's already looking. It's like a cotton candy sky.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what we're going for. Just want broad strokes. And honestly, with the canvas, it's really some time now. This is where the therapeutic nature of painting comes in. You want to start really being one with the brush strokes, get in there. I love doing X marks on my canvas because it means that the paint really gets saturated into all of the weaving of the canvas. So by that, I mean, I always use the flat side of the brush. So you want to do the flat side of it so that you're doing these like really nice large X marks. You're flicking your wrist back and forth. It's like a full body motion. It's fantastic.
Oh, yes. Okay, I'm going to spotlight you because you're really doing it right now. Okay.
Yeah, so you can do just like that. And then it starts to create some texture on the canvas as you start to play around. And I don't like my canvases to be flat. There are times when that's necessary and it's, it works. But for the beginnings, for the sky is not flat. There are, clouds and different variations. So you just want to go ahead and work that color in there until your paintbrush is just about dry. And I'm just dragging my brush to the bottom of the canvas as it dries out so that I can sort of begin that process of just cleaning it out.
Okay.
So I feel really good about what I have so far. And this is what I got.
Okay, awesome. So it's supposed to be more concentrated on top than on bottom.
Yes. So you definitely want this to be up in the sky a bit more so. And now seems like a decent time for a quick sneak peek. Just peeking it in the back. So it's just a quick sneak peek in the back. So you want it to be, more concentrated up towards the top where the sky is. And we'll have some more color that will join us at the bottom.
Okay.
All right, looking great. So the next thing that we're going to do, because again, I do think this is a little flat and I want to add some more dimension there. I'm going to go in with some of my white paint. Where do I have that? I have that here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my large brush. We haven't cleaned it. We haven't done anything. I'm just going to take a dollop of that on my brush again, right above the brush. And I am just going to select maybe 3 areas. So right in the top left corner, middle right corner, bottom left corner. And I'm just going to dollop them and then start just blending them in. Again, giving some variation to that sky. I'm going in with the X motion just because that feels good for me. That's a rhythm I like. And then it really helps to blend it in. You don't want to blend it in so much that you completely wipe out the whites because, again, I like that variation. It almost resembles clouds in a sort of abstract way, if you will. So mine looks really fluffy in this area. And then I'll go in and do the same at the bottom. So again, not completely blending it too much into the canvas so that you lose some of that, but just to give it enough texture and variation.
Okay.
I hope you all can see that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Awesome.
I'm trying, girl.
You're doing great. I see it.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
So that's what we have. We're just developing a cotton candy sky. Now,
Okay.
for your purple, I know you mentioned, I think, let me see the purple that you have, because I'm sure it's a similar
Purple.
type that many of us might have found at the store. Okay, yes. So I think you're absolutely right. You might want to mix that with a smidge of white just to get it a bit lighter. But honestly, I think even the purple I ended up with seems kind of close to what you have.
Okay. I'm just going to mix that up.
Yeah. To brighten it up a little bit.
Okay.
And then with that, I took, again, a smaller smidge, but a smidge nonetheless of that purple. And I am going to start the other ones we did on the sides. I'm going to start maybe from the middle left-hand side, right? So just that one dollop for my smidge. So again, not a lot, but I want to go ahead and just work that in to this section here. We have not cleaned our brushes yet. So what's going to be beautiful about this is you'll start seeing it blend and mix with all of the colors you've already had on your canvas. So you don't want to completely wipe out any of the work that you did with adding those clouds in the previous step. But you want to go in some of the areas where you feel like you want to deepen it up a little bit. So I chose that middle left-hand section, which is right between the two layers of clouds that I had done before. And to go ahead, as always, to kind of clean off our brush, I'm just going to migrate across the canvas to the right and then go down to the bottom of the canvas. I can sort of at this point feel my brush getting dry, and you can also see that from the canvas. You start seeing that I'm putting less and less paint because my brush is drier and drier. So I like that.
Okay. I'm so unsure of myself right now, but
often is the case in painting. It's one of those crafts where you really do need to trust the process. And sometimes it's like, I don't love that. But when you see it as a background against all of the layers we'll start adding, you'll say, oh, I'm so happy I added some dimension there. Otherwise it would have been really flat. Yeah.
Okay.
So if there are any places that you want to smooth out, remember your brush is your tool. You are in control of this thing. So you can go in again with those tiny X's, and you can do it smaller so that it's more managed, and go ahead and apply that pressure. You can lift the color up. You can lift it down. You can draw it down and really just work it into those sections.
Okay.
And you'll start seeing the blending happen really, really nicely.
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Confidence restored.
I'm telling you, that's what it's all about. Okay. So now that we've done that really nice wash, I think we're ready to move on to the next step whenever you feel ready.
I'm ready.
All right, looking good. So the first thing that I want to do, we are going to bring out the paper towels that we have with us, just one of the paper towels. And what I like to do before I start saturating my brushes, I want to do as many layers with all the colors that I can before I need to fully brush it out. So what I do is I just take my napkin and I just wipe the paint off. Just wipe off that pink paint that you might have on there for now, because the next color we're going to be using is the purple on its own without being diluted or lightened with any white. And it's in the same color family, so I don't feel the need to drench our brushes just yet. So we're just going to wipe that off until it's as dry as we can get it. So that's what my brush looks like. And I am going to go in, again, my purple is mixed. However, if you have purple that you've added to your paint palette, please use it from there as well. So maybe I'll go ahead and do that. I'll just add it to my paint palette.
Okay.
All right. So what we're going to do, I hope you guys enjoyed geometry because we're doing lots of shapes and things.
Okay.
All right. So we're actually going to move on to a different size brush at this time.
Okay.
Just because I think it'll give everyone a bit more control over the shapes that we're going to make. So what I would ask that you do after I've just said that is to go ahead and rinse out your brush. We'll just
the same one.
Yeah, the large brush. So we'll rinse out the large brush. just so we can put it to the side, because I would prefer that we use the medium brush for the next step.
Okay.
So we've dried it off, which is nice. It doesn't, so you won't have a lot of gunk left in your water for all the other rinses that we're going to need to do. Rinse it off as best you can. Here's what my brush looks like. Nice.
Okay.
All right. And then I'm going to once again dry that off and set it to the side to dry for the next time that we need it.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to set my large brush aside. And now we're working with that medium-sized brush. This, again, will be the one that's maybe about a half an inch or so.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm going to go in with the purple. So this is just the straight purple. And hopefully you'll notice the background is still going to be a little wet. So that's something to keep in mind. With the layers that we're about to start doing right now, they are going to need to be quite concentrated and pigmented. So this might be something that we go over a second time. And I say that up front just to say, because I have had, students that I've worked with, and they're like trying to pack on the paint and make it so thick so that the color is prominent, where it's actually a lot better to do regular amounts of paint and just let it dry, because then it would have enough time to dry, and then go back on and add a second layer. It such a beautiful finish, and then you don't end up with globs of paint that you're waiting for a long time to dry.
So just a quick question that I have. This is the purple that's not mixed with white, or is it mixed with white?
Purple that's not mixed with white.
Not mixed with white. Okay, perfect.
So that's a great clarifying question. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put a straight line across the bottom third of the painting. So for bottom third, I kind of look at the painting, I need the hands free. So for me, bottom third would be right about this line here, right? So this is one third, second third. So right here is where I'm going to put my straight line.
Straight line.
So right about here, right? On the canvas. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to go for it. We're going to eyeball it. The nice thing is, if you set your eye to the other end, maybe put like a dot at the very other end where you want to connect it, and you look at that line, you end up drawing a straighter line. Don't look at the line that you're drawing. Look at the line that you want to connect to.
Good tip.
Your eye just kind of goes. So it's connected. That feels really good. All right. So we have a line. Now what we're going to do in the center of that line, we're going to draw a square. So I love doing these paint nights because honestly, it gives me an opportunity to break down what could be really complex steps when you look at them into very manageable steps. So we're going to make a square just like that. That's a square.
Oh man.
And
I feel like mine is not dark enough. Okay.
Again, because the background isn't completely dry, it might just be mixing in with those beautiful pinks that we added before, but we are going to be adding a second coat. So just get everything demarcated, and then we'll definitely have times to go over and fix them. So then from there, we're going to flank this square and make sure that it's taking up enough real estate here. So you want it to be a true square. So extend a little bit on your square. Yeah, extend it just a little bit.
Like make it taller and wider?
No. Just wider.
Just wider. Okay.
Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Yeah. So then from there, we're going to do two really tall rectangles. So right next to it. So what I would do is I would carry over make it about double the height of the square.
Okay.
And we do want them to be touching. So we're just going to do like that. And that's my first rectangle. So you see the rectangle there. And then, I'm sorry. Sorry, Instagram, you were a little shaky. You got your balance of my Instagram? Obviously shaking. All right. And then we're going to do our second one. I'm just eyeballing the height here. But I think that's about right.
Okay.
And then we're going to make that into another rectangle. So all the kids out there who are doing this, following along, I am speaking your language here.
Yeah.
We're just doing basic shapes to get our structure in place. Oh, it's looking good, Hakima.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
trust the process. I see your square and I see your rectangles. I
Okay,
do.
perfect.
Okay, and then from here, we're going to draw smaller rectangles flanking that. So it's going to be sort of like a mirrored image because we love symmetry here. And it's going to be shorter than the square, right?
Okay.
The square is up here, so just a little bit shorter. So I'm going to do my rectangle here. And again, since they're all connected, I just use that as one of my legs from the previous rectangle we made. This might be a little bit wider for me. A wider rectangle than the ones we just made. Those were thin and narrow. This one's going to be a little bit stumpy. A little bit shorter. Here we go. And then we're going to bring that down. Woohoo! Who said we don't use math after high school? What? Amazing. Okay. So this is fantastic. So what we're going to do now is fill it in.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're just going to take our purple and just start filling all of those boxes and squares. Fill them all in. And this is another process where I don't do the X's in this one because I'm not trying to get texture. I do just want it to be filled in. So this is one of those where if you were really interested in like really straight lines, you can go for it.
Okay.
You just go straight up and down to fill those all the way in. And what I like to do at this stage as well is kind of make sure that I don't have these globs of paint on the canvas because similar to what just happened with the background, if you notice, we have a lot of paint kind of just living on the canvas. It takes a long time to dry. So as I kind of go square or rectangle by rectangle, if I'm collecting a lot of paint on my brush, I just go ahead, wipe a bit of that off on either my paper plate or right on the towel. And I tend to find that the places that have the most sort of bunches of paint just hanging out would be at the very tops where we drew those initial lines. So I just want to sweep right along there, clean everything up. If you weren't too thrilled about your shapes, now is always the time to like define everything a little bit better. Yeah, but now is when everything gets so calm.
Yeah, you know what? Your narrations are so on point because I did feel a sense of calm because just right then I did.
Yeah. Very, very nice.
Aww. Now I'm happier about my rectangles and squares.
You see? Very, very good. All right, so this is currently what I have. It looks very mauve, if I can say that. I love that.
I love your purple.
So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to create a half circle or a dome shape, if you will. And we're going to do that. So I've wiped off my brush, my medium-sized brush. I've just wiped it off on the napkin there. And I'm going to set that aside. So I'm not going to rinse it because we will be back to that pretty shortly. And I'm going to actually move down to my small brush. Not the detail brush, but just the small brush. All right. And then same purple, we're just going to go in and add our dome shapes. This, again, is just to give us as much control as possible. And I'm going to add a dome to the two tall rectangles and the center square. So I just go from the end of one of them, make a half circle. An upside down smiley face, if you will.
Okay.
Ah!
What happened?
I lost an ear.
Oh.
shifted my camera.
Multiple headphones.
Yeah. All right. So here we are. We're back. So we're making our half circles or our smiley, upside down smiley faces right over that large rectangle and the center square.
And the center square. Okay.
And then, as always, we're going to go in and fill that in.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You can extend it from the rectangle and the square. It's one structure, so there doesn't have to be a clear demarcation from when the dome or the half circle.
Yeah.
You can add that in later detail, so you could just go ahead and make.
Alrighty. Done.
Yay. Okay. Now, I would love to add some drama.
Some drama. Okay.
Yeah. So what I would like to do is just start whatever you have left on your brush. Go ahead and wipe that off down at the bottom here. Right under, creating a bit of shadow, if you will. And I just like to use this as a way to start clearing off the brush, but also to add some depth and texture to the floor.
Oh, nice.
I'm just going to add some shadow here.
So did you develop this picture yourself?
Yes. So there were, I feel like inspiration is one of those things people have different ways of coming about it. But I think if you look at multiple pieces and then draw the characteristics that you like, I really do believe that that's true inspiration, because you can be inspired by or really, pick out different things that you loved about many, but you feel like, okay, I'm not just recreating something exactly. So it wasn't one mosque scene or like one, but usually you'll see these same shapes and structures and that sort of thing. And I was like, oh yeah. And I love cotton candy skies. And this, I think it gives it sort of a monochrome. Like as you look at it, it seems very monochrome until we pack a punch with some of the other layers that we'll get to. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Very fun. All right. So as this is all drying, we are going to move on to our next color, and that is going to be the blue. So what we can do at this time, we're going to remain with the small brush. I have found that using this one just, makes you feel a little bit better, like you are in control. So I'm going over to my paint palette, and I'm just going to take a smidge of that blue.
Okay.
That's a smidge. And we're going to start adding some depth to the structure we just created. Now, because we just created it, it is going to want to blend with your other colors. Let it happen. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with the side that's closest to me. So on the left side here, and I'm just going to start by adding some of that blue in there. Now, some of you are like, that's ruining it. If you feel that way, skip this step. It's okay. Like, it's your piece. And if you don't want it, that is absolutely fine. I like giving people options. You know, at the end of the day, I want you to be happy with this piece. But for me, I like a little bit of texture. And again, give you a little peekaboo. All right.
Oh, that's more than peekaboo.
And it has a little bit more depth and texture there. So I do like adding that because it helps with defining some of the spaces before we get in with some of the deeper color that we're going to use at the end, which can sometimes, if you don't have other depth, you're like, oh, I'll just add some details with this, but it's black, and that can be overpowering with all of the beautiful light colors that we've done.
Right.
But because the paint is still quite wet, I know for me at least, it's blending in more than I would like. So Hakima, how's it doing for you? Would you like to, we can.
I think my purple is not blending in as much. I think my paint itself is just super thin. So it's just coming off more transparent, but I don't think the purple is really picking up as much. I just think the blue is very light.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what we'll do here, I think it's best, we're going to pause. So
Okay.
I'll pause on this step and then come back to it when the paints are a bit dry, because I'd like for that to sort of be a bit more saturated.
Okay.
So what we'll do now, we'll start working on this bottom layer here. So we're moving back to our medium style brush. Look at me, YouTuber here.
Oh, the medium.
Yes. So we're picking back up our medium.
If you can see that.
Brush, if you can see that. And then we're going to go ahead.
This is medium. Okay.
Nice dollop. Like that's a generous amount of blue there. Coating both sides. And we're going to go ahead where we added that 1/3 line at the bottom from the center and out to the left side. We're going to fill that space in. And then we're going to allow it to meet, but not erase the purple that we had added when we were cleaning off our brush. And then just sweeping motions across the bottom of the floor here.
So you do these paint parties virtually now, and prior to that, you were doing it in person. What kind of like events do you do this for? Like parties or just by itself?
Yeah. So what I have found for me, I did my first large one, I think, for a birthday party. And then I think for one of my birthdays, I was like, I want to do something where I bring people together and introduce them to something that I love to do. A lot of my close friends know that I love the arts and I'm quite artistic. And but I noticed that many of them, if you ask adults nowadays, it's like, I'm not artistic or I'm not creative is what I used to hear. And I thought to myself, no way you can say that, right? You think of your friends and they're creative in so many different ways. Maybe not artistically, but they're definitely creative. So my mission was to erase that statement and allow people to really discover the creativity that they honestly do possess. And if it meant breaking down steps into things that seemed achievable, like I can draw a square. I might not be able to portrait, but I can draw a square. And slowly but surely, when we would do these sessions and have individuals, use these basic shapes and, develop these outstanding works of art, they would step back at the end like, what? I made that? And I'm like, yes, you made that. You're capable of doing this stuff. And it just became an obsession of mine. So I find that for it could be a retirement party, it could be birthdays or, for celebrations of any kind. I think like Eid, I've done them at mosques before for young children, just any place where you want folks to gather. Family reunions, that's another one. So we've done that over the summer at family reunions and things. But yeah, any gathering of individuals. I've done them at like corporate events. They've had like their different employees as a way to do like icebreakers and get to know each other and just laugh a little. That's always a good time. Yeah. So here's what mine looks like.
Go ahead.
Where are you? Okay, I see yours. Perfect.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So all of this area here, I've got,
you can
I don't know if you can see just leave it a little blank. Okay.
Yeah. Just fade into that purple a little bit.
Okay.
And you were saying?
No, I was saying that I always thought, when I was younger, that artistic abilities are like kind of like an innate thing that can't necessarily be learned. Kind of like with singing. I mean, you can have a singing voice or a singing coach to
Yeah.
refine and fine tune a talent that's already in your vocal cords. You know, like you can't
Yeah.
really teach someone like me to sing because it's just never going to come out that great. But I think there is something that is not so innate about some artistic abilities, where
Yeah.
something like painting, there is there's a course of action to learn, okay, which brushes, how do you make the perfect stroke? How do you layer colors? And you
Right.
can actually go up levels in terms of, okay, going from what I'm making today to
Right.
what you're making today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think when you have that in mind, it relieves a bit of the pressures or anxiety a little bit about even attempting. And I think if individuals would not limit themselves from at least attempting, they'd go so much further a lot faster because they're not afraid of making mistakes or making ugly paintings. Because
yeah,
there are some things that I have in the back of the closet, yes, that I don't put up on the walls from earlier works. And it's always that way, but you won't get to the point of all the beautiful things unless you start trying. So I love that. I love that people are at least being a bit more open to at least attempting, and that's always fun.
Yeah.
All right. So I like the way that color is kind of sitting right now. The next thing that we're going to do, I think we're going to try, I know at least on my canvas, my paint is still damp, but I'm willing to risk it all. So
okay,
we're going to go in. I'm switching back over after I have just wiped off my blue medium brush. I'm going to lay that down, and I'm picking back up the small brush if you feel like it'll give you more control. I do know that some folks, for this stage at least, I probably, after doing this first rectangle here, would probably prefer my medium brush just because it gives me a nice wash on a larger area, a larger space. So at this stage, I will honestly say you could use either your medium or small. You can test it out. We had already tried doing the first rectangle. So after doing that, how did it feel? Did you feel like, oh, I really wish I could kind of do larger spaces? If so, move up to your medium size brush. And if not, go ahead and continue using the small brush. But like I said, I think I'm going with the medium brush because I think it gives me wider sweeps of color that I think I want.
Okay. I think I'm going to stick with the small one because I think my small is more so your medium.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think this is a 1/2 inch is my small one.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. So just basically on one side, because are we making like a shadow?
Yes. So it is going to seem like a shadow effect. Some of mine, it might encase the whole thing. It really depends on where your brush lands, but the effect is to give it sort of a shadow effect.
Okay.
Perfect. You have the best clarifying questions. Yes, that's exactly.
Okay. And then we're going to go on each pillar.
Yes.
Oh, and on the dome. Okay.
Yeah. And if at any point you feel like there's too much color or it's starting to change the shapes more than you would want, again, that's where your paper towel comes in handy. It's always nice once you start collecting maybe too much paint and then you're starting to see it wash out your color. Go ahead and wipe off that paint, remove that excess, and with a dry brush, you have so much more control. So what I'm doing here, because I started to see the blue is kind of overpowering here, so I cleaned off my brush, not with water, but just wiping it off on the towel. And then if I go right where those colors start to blend and kind of sweep, it really does help because then I'm able to pick up on the purple that's behind it and use that to kind of, fade it back out.
So just to clarify, there's a little bit more people here now on Instagram.
Hi,
so I just wanted to tell them that Fatmata and I are painting this beautiful mosque scene. We're also live on StreamYard, which is why we keep looking, or I keep looking back and forth. We're just doing programming for ACC. So just raising awareness about the organization, doing something fun, and also getting some donations, hopefully. There's a link in my bio if you'd like to donate to this nonprofit. It gives non-interest loans to students, Muslim students seeking higher education in America. So we're just doing something fun for a cause, inshallah.
Yay. And I just saw on there, I peeked for the first time in a while, and I just saw my cousin Khadijah. So I'm doing a shout out, Khadijah. She is one of my, she has, I think, the record for the most painting with Fatmata paintings.
She's done all of them.
Yes, she has done almost all of them. She's been my assistant, and she is going to college next year. So she might be one of those who might benefit from a loan like this in the future, inshallah. So
definitely.
that's
Mashallah.
awesome.
That would be great. The more money we have in this pot, the more students that can benefit from it.
Inshallah. Awesome.
Inshallah.
So we're working. All right. I did my second one. I'm feeling good. And I think as you kind of move on, you start finding that like, oh, that pillar looked a lot better than the first. So it's really nice. It's really, really nice. Okay. So I'll go ahead and continue.
So what are some other types of artistic things that you do other than painting?
Oh my goodness. Wood burning is the first one that jumped to my mind because it's on my brain a lot lately. It was a medium that struck me so deeply. Back when I went, where did I go? So I went back home to Guinea and Sierra Leone in December of 2012 after graduating from school. And I remember just looking around and seeing a lot of course, any place that you go when you travel, you start to see art that really reflects the people or the resources and things that are on hand there. And one of the art forms that I saw a lot of were either wood carvings, wood painting, and wood burnings. And I just thought that they were so intricate and beautiful. I would see handbags with leather that were also sort of like burned into with these beautiful motifs and scenes of the regional lifestyle and things like that. And I was really, really drawn to it. And I remember I'd go into Michael's, which has taken more of my money than I care to share. And I remember I would pass by a certain aisle that had these wood burning tools. And of course they had like a wooden plaque and they would put like a duck on it. I don't know. They made like interesting things. Or they had one that was like a clock and you could burn the numbers around it. And I thought, I'm sure there's more you could do with this. And on one faithful day, I had a 60% off coupon, which is when I would get all of my best things from Michael's. And I said, today's the day. Today's the day. I'm going to bring that thing home. And sure enough, I did. I used it to wood burn like letters on a chest was my first thing and to outline things. And then I thought, I'm kicking it up a notch. And I fell in love with that medium. It is very time consuming. It is a slow burn process. When I say the amount of attention, peace, and calm that art form brought me is indescribable. I loved it so much. And after starting a family, it's just less time that I had to devote to something that was that meticulous. But it definitely gave me an appreciation for being one with a process, because with wood burning, like here, I made a mistake, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wipe off my brush. Instead of the blue, I'm going to pick up purple. I'm going to pick up purple, and then I'll go ahead and cover it up, right? I'm going to cover up my mistake. Well, with wood burning, once you burned a piece of wood, it was over.
It's over.
So it was really beautiful. And I found that here in the States, once you discover something, you think you're the only one who's ever done it before until you really get into it. And then I found an entire community of amazing wood burners.
Really?
And I found out that there's a name for that type of art. It's pyrography, like pyro.
Fire.
So it's really beautiful to see the craftsmanship of many. And I would love to revisit that art form in the near future. But aside from that, wire writing, I love that. And that sparked from trips to Six Flags.
Yeah.
when I would see them making like necklaces for people and writing their names in wire, and I was
Yeah.
thinking, I'm not going to buy that. And again, another trip to Michael's, and I was like, I'm going to learn how to
Make it.
how
Yeah.
to do that.
Wow.
And I love doing those as well. But anything really, charcoal paint, oil paint is a love-hate relationship. I love it. It
Mhm.
hates me, but it's fine. And yeah, it's just a very involved sort of painting medium. So I think acrylic, if anyone's trying to get into painting, acrylics and watercolor, I cannot recommend those enough. They are just
Mm.
really good staples and go-tos.
Mhm.
The watercolor is a lot of fun that I would like to invest in more and try out more. Okay, just a moment, everyone. I'm going to mute.
Alrighty. So one of the first things that when I met you, one of the first things that I think it was wood burning, and I really do think it was a purse.
Yeah.
You had a purse
Yes.
and you had wood burned on it.
Yes.
And because I do fashion online and you did the wood burning on a purse, it kind of like it was a perfect fusion of
Yes.
the fashion and the art.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that is the most unique purse I've ever seen. How can I style it into an outfit? Like, can I get that from you?
Yeah.
And are you coming out with a line of them? And then I saw your wood burning of your family, and I was like, wow, this girl, like, you literally just, it was phenomenal. And then I got to know what your sister does, and I'm pretty sure you do the same thing, baking, with creating these beautiful cakes. And I was like, okay, so Creative Koroma, the Creative Koromas is like, is far beyond what I thought this purse is, like mashallah. It's way more than that, mashallah. It's baking, it's sewing. Believe me, like your sewing impresses me every single time I watch your YouTube videos. Every single time you're like, oh, I made this. I'm like, what? I would have bought that for $100, at the store. It's just so mashallah. Everything that you do is very blessed. You have very blessed hands, mashallah.
Mashallah. Guys, I didn't know she was going to say that.
No, it's so true.
Thank you. True. That's very, very kind. Yeah, so I just did this wash, and hopefully it's picking up here for you all.
So I feel like I've really depleted the purple on the one side.
Yeah.
Is everything okay with do you have to pause at all?
I'm going to pause just to see what's happening. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Everyone, fix up all of your areas. Hakima, take it away. I know you got it.
Okay. Okay. I actually, like, my paint is pretty thin. And every time I'm touching the canvas, the white of the canvas is showing through. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. And I'm just going to reintroduce some purple on one side because I see that she still has purple and I have no purple. You're muted.
For the make yourself big, and then I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. Oh, now we get to see it in full effect. That is at least on StreamYard, you can see the full thing that we're going to be making. So I'm just adding a little bit more purple on the side. I hope that people watch this on the replay and actually create this. Now, the paint that I'm using is really cheap paint, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. This is from my kids. They have this online curriculum, and they sent them these paints for their art lessons. It's tempera paint, or tempera. And I bought more expensive acrylic paint from Michael's. But I was like, if I can just get away with the tempera paint, I'm going to return all of these. So I'm trying to get away with it, but maybe I should have just went with the $4.99 per bottle paint, because this tempera paint is really thin. But I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. Gonna make it through. Okay, I'm not gonna touch it too much because I'm starting to see white of the canvas through, and I want it to dry before I start removing paint, as opposed to thinking that I'm applying paint. Okay. Alrighty. I'm just looking at the difference between Fatmata's and mine. And subhanAllah, when someone's an artist, they just are. If anybody out there wants to laugh at my version, if you would like to laugh at my version,
No, don't say
join
that.
me. No, I'm kidding.
Why?
I'm saying, join me in laughing.
No way. I honestly, you wait
No,
until we start doing the finishes, because even the domes that you put on yours, like, they're oblong. So I like that, because I think I might actually do that to mine. It looks a bit more like a mosque, but you're using your own interpretation. That's the thing with art, which is why most times I hide the finished products, because people are like, it's not doing that. And I'm like,
yeah,
it's not necessarily meant
just
to
wait.
do that. That
Just
is an
wait.
example. Yeah, you just wait. So,
Okay.
yes, you're still on the right track, my dear.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead, and I think we are on our way on to some of the next steps that we're going to do. Okay. So from here, oh yay, my paint is drying up a bit just the way that I would like. So I think that's going to give us some time to move on to next steps.
Okay.
How are you feeling about the whole process?
I love the colors, this purple, pink,
awesome.
and blue.
Yeah.
They're so beautiful together.
MashaAllah, yeah.
I love that it's a mosque in the evening time. It seems like it's going to be iftar soon, and people are going to the masjid to have their day.
Hungry.
It's beautiful. The only masjid that I've ever seen that has all of this grandeur is the one in Maryland. The Turkish mosque in Maryland. Yeah, like that one seemed like as soon as you kind of like come in its presence, it looks like you've really landed in the middle of Turkey. Like it has the minarets and all of the Islamic geometric art and all of that. And I never get used to it. I've only been there like maybe 3-ish times, and I have not gotten used to it. It's so beautiful. And then there's a masjid in Chicago actually that it has a minaret and a dome, and it has a sense of that grandeur as well. Yeah. And it kind of rises up out of nowhere as well. Like you're just driving in the middle of Southside Chicago, and then it's like, wow, Masjid Fatr, and that's a masjid that I grew up going to when I was really little, like maybe up until like 6 or 7. And I have really fond memories of the smell in there and like how soft the carpet was, and it's beautiful.
It's amazing how your memories can be tied to all of these other sensational things, which is really, really
cool.
Yes. So from here, there are, I think we're ready. The background, you can tap yours if you'd like, but is your background dry? Like the
my
sky?
Background, my background seems dry. Yeah,
okay,
there's a few spaces where it's not, where it globbed a little, but mostly dry.
Okay, so what I'd like us to do is start framing the piece just to give time for what we've done here in the center to dry. Again, because when we go in with final touches, we want that to be as dry as possible so it's not picking up on all those colors, because that's really where we're going to define many of the shapes that we've made. So at this time, whether you're using your small or medium brush, go ahead and clean your brush.
Clean it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to clean that off.
Oh, okay. Both of them.
And dry it. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was saying we're washing off both of them, the medium and the small. Okay.
So I was just wondering, I was like, why are so many people calling me? I promise I'm never this popular, but
yeah.
I think it's for Mother's Day. I was like, why is that? Why are you calling me? What's going on? I was like, oh, it's Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day.
Yeah,
oh, mashallah, that's great that you're getting everyone calling to
sweet.
say, oh, that's so sweet. I was concerned. That's why I didn't really ask, because I was like, I don't know if something had happened.
Well, no, I don't think they were all for that. Trust me, I'm not that popular as a mom, but I did. I was like, oh, but the few people who I've seen recently, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little cousin of mine. That's probably Mother's Day. I was like, okay. It's like I can go a whole day and no one ever calls me. And I was like, the one day. Damn live. Like, what's happening? Okay, so I have just added to my paint palette some black. And surprise, surprise, we are going to be defining our painting. So I am going to begin with my medium-sized brush.
Okay.
So the medium brush out, we had just cleaned that off and wiped it down. So you do want it to be quite dry.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will lift up some of the color you've already set down.
Okay.
All right, bismillah. Anytime
I feel like, and you tell me if I should, that because I've now been dealing with this tempera paint and I see that it is pretty thin, I want to start switching to this one. Is that okay to mix the two? Like, this is acrylic. This is a better acrylic paint.
Yeah. I think for the black detailing, yes. But for all the other colors you've done, I think once we're going to use some black to define those as well. And I think you'll see it all kind of comes together. But I think for the black things, yes, you might want to use the acrylic.
Yeah, because I don't want it to be black with like white bits in the middle.
Yes. Right.
Okay, let's do that.
So for anyone out there who's watching, what she's describing right now is just the difference in types of paint. So I know in the description we had said flow acrylic paint. So that's what this is, flow acrylic. And it's basically like acrylic paint, but it flows, for lack of better words. But honestly, it's just a bit lighter than your traditional acrylic. And you find that it has characteristics of tempera where it stays malleable and blendable for a bit longer than acrylic would be. So you have time to sort of lay down colors and then blend them together and work through it. So that's what flow paint is. It's not as common to find, and I'm very aware of that. So if anyone had a hard time and is using acrylic paints, definitely feel free to do that as well. What you might find is that from time to time, you might want to add just like a little bit of color. My live video ended, but why?
Oh, because it's like a 1 hour limit.
Oh.
So say if you want to save that media, then we can restart again.
How do I do that? Hakima's gonna teach me.
What kind of what kind of options does it say on your screen right now? Does it say like
it just said it has stopped recording and then it went away.
Oh man. See, I should have kept in mind the 1 hour rule. Because if you stop it yourself before 1 hour, it'll give you some options like save this as an IGTV,
Oh no!
But because it ended by itself, it's like okay, well then you lost all your options. It's all right. We can restart, and then if we take 1 more hour, then we have like the second half of this. It's completely fine.
It's okay.
We have it all recorded on StreamYard. StreamYard is not going to do that to us. StreamYard is more loyal. than Instagram.
Cool.
Instagram is just like, oh, you're done.
Hi, oh, is it? But I'm moving my camera. It's not. I think it's just tired of me. What's happening? I'm live, but stuck. Are you sure? Oh, I see. Now that, yeah, you're absolutely right. Now that I have done it. Oh, okay. If only. Okay. Hi, everyone on StreamYard. We're just getting through the whole Instagram thing. We'll be right back. All right, so it's checking my connection.
Okay.
We're telling you. Hi, assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm back with a continuous charity, and we are doing our paint session. So, Hakima, are you going to join me?
Yes. Hakima's joining very soon. As soon as I see you pop up here. Okay, there we go.
Yay. So for everyone who was with us previously, thank you and welcome back. It's glad to have you here. And we may have lost the footage from the original one, but we are still in business and we are continuing on with the painting. So follow what was posted on StreamYard. Okay. Get up to speed on this phase, and then we'll keep going.
Yeah.
Okay,
we're good.
Okay, awesome.
Save a little bit more time for things to dry anyway.
Okay, good. All right, so for this, I'll be very honest with you. This step makes people a little bit uncomfortable.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there because if you feel uncomfortable, I don't want you to feel like I'm the only, like, come on.
Yeah.
It happens. What I'm going to ask of you right now, we're going to start with the small brush just to give you, again, control. And then we're going to move on back to our medium or large brush based on your preference. But with the small brush, we're going to go right in with the black. I'm going to ask you to make an arch. Right?
All right.
Yeah, you see the inhale and exhale? So from the center, which the center would be right above the top of that, the top of your first dome, the center dome there. And I'm going to start by doing this. I'm going to make a little mark, and you can't see my mark, but here it is. So I made a little mark here. And then right at like where those minarets are, I'm going to make a little mark at the edge there, and then on the other side of that. Hopefully, I think you guys can see my little dollops, yeah? Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
you can see.
I can.
And what I'm going to do is just connect the dots with arches. So from here, arch down.
Arch down. Okay.
All right, easy peasy, lemon squeeze.
Okay.
So there we go. Now, from there, now that you have the, the initial shaping and whatnot, you can kind of take a look at it because I need to take a look at mine and see. And I feel like mine is lopsided. So I can now kind of fix that. Yeah, it's very lopsided. Oh, boy. Okay. So I'm going to fix that on my end.
Okay. I'm not fixing. You know what? I'm not fixing anything. Because I think if I fix, I'm actually gonna bring more black and like when you try to fix your eyeliner and then you end up with a black eye. Exactly. It's okay.
Yes. Yeah, but yours actually looks spot on, so I don't think you have anything to fix. Yours was great. So that's where I am with mine, and then you're going to then bring that down. So remember, because how we did the background, it wasn't necessarily taking up all of the space. So for me, I like to bring in this arch a little bit, maybe by about an inch. So I definitely want to cover as much of the canvas as possible. I don't want any of the white of the canvas to show necessarily, but if it's from your clouds, that's fine. So there's just a little gap between the last structure there in the back. There we go.
Okay.
And then I'm going to, again, mirrored image. We're going to do the same on the outer side. So I hope my hand is not crossing over too much, but this is what I'm doing. So about
Yeah, we can still see.
within an inch or so.
I can already tell that my kids are going to be like, oh, Mommy, you made this.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're always like amazed. Like if I like cut a heart, they're like, oh, for me.
Oh, I love it.
They always do that. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so cute.
That's
It's just a little thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
They're like, no,
But
that's amazing.
they make things feel
exactly.
special.
Exactly. You have to watch this with them and do it with them, Hakima.
Yes, well, we did, there's this one man who does, I guess a lot of people do this on Instagram, on YouTube, I mean, like draw with me, and we drew the Lorax.
Oh, I love that.
That little character.
Yes.
And it was so easy once you, just like this is easy once you do it step by step, you know?
Yeah.
And the Lorax came out so well.
Good.
Aya's Lorax was so, it was so good.
Oh, wow.
Well, she tends to draw much bigger. So therefore, I think she gave herself enough space for the details on the inside.
Yes.
Whereas Amana's, and I didn't correct anybody because art is always fine, however you do it. But Amana's was pretty small. And then when she tried to make details on the inside, it was just like kind of crowding. Yeah. But it was still fine. So I realized that, you know what, that's like that's a way that me as a quote unquote non-artistic person can really like teach them art is by having someone else do it on YouTube.
And I'll do it with you. Like mommy's doing it
then
too.
They'll be like, oh, look at mom's.
Yes.
As if it came from me, really. But it's fun. It's really fun. Absolutely.
Oh, how's it going? I see yours. So just to clarify, we are extending this all the way down. And I know you're already doing that, but I wanted to make sure anyone who's joining. So this is going to flank the entire scene. So not just up by, the 1/3 point, but this will go all the way to the top and bottom. It's as if you were walking down a courtyard and this was the scene in front of you. And you're like,
the masjid. So here's what I'm dealing with right now. Okay. I'm dealing with the fact that I have some white here. And I don't want to extend the black way too much in to cover the white. So what do I do?
Yes. So here's what I would recommend you do. What I recommend is that you go in with which brush are you using right now? Your small brush, yes?
Small.
Yes. So what I would do is I would go in with your medium brush because that should be cleaned and dried and ready to go. And take right now that light colored purple. You have to be daring and you have to be brave, but I know you can do it. You're going to take, yes, you can. And I'm going to do it along with you just so you're not alone. So I'm going to take a dollop of the purple.
Okay, let me do it.
And I'm going to take my mixing palette, if you will. And so I have a dollop of purple on my brush because I'm sure someone at home as well is facing this. So I'm happy that you brought it up. And I'm going to actually just like wipe it off on my brush. So we put it on to wipe it off. Why would you do that? I know it's crazy, but it works. So you do it because you don't want a ton of paint on your brush, just enough. And then you're going to not touch the black, but right where they meet and then drag it inward. Right where they meet and then drag it inward. Right. So like leave a centimeter. And I know we use inches, but if you've ever seen a ruler, a centimeter of space. A centimeter of space here and then drag it inward. All right. And then
oh my God, what a good solution. I honestly thought that I would have to throw the whole thing away. No, I'm kidding.
Never with painting. There's always a way to fix it. There's always a way around.
This is such a good solution. I would have never like wiped it off. You know, I would have probably put like a little dollop on there and tried to like blend it or something. But wiping it off is just, it preempts the problem that you're going to create.
Yes. So then you have it filled. And then with that 1 centimeter, now you go back in with the black, and now it's only a centimeter you have to fill in.
Yeah.
You just like bring it over. Yep. Just so you don't have that. But that's what I would do.
Girl, that's what anyone should do.
And if you'd like, again, you can rinse off and dry your brush that we just used to do that if you did this at home as well. And if that occurred to you, maybe even in the sky, and you were like, oh, my arch is now, you know, because I know that I had that happening right here.
Yeah.
So you can do that for any of those spaces. But yeah,
Okay.
now we're all dry. Put that back. Now we're back with the small brush, just to lay down the arch shape. Now, once you get up to the top, I like the small brush for these little sides because it's a bit narrow here. You know, it's nice to have more control and to lay out the overall shape. But I tend to really like going in with the medium brush for these wider areas here because it gives me a smoother wash of color again. And that is sort of what I'm looking for. I find that with the smaller brushes, you'll get a lot of streaks, a lot of streak marks. So whether you want to use the large brush or the medium brush, I would highly recommend for the top of the arch to change to one of the larger ones, either the medium or the large brush.
Okay.
If you feel a little bit hesitant because of how powerful the black is, then definitely go with the medium. If you feel like you have a good level of control over what you're doing, then go ahead and use the large brush. One thing that I would say when you're using black, especially for these spaces, similar to what we just did for the purple, I would go ahead and kind of dollop it off on your mixing plate. The last thing you want is for a dollop of black to like land somewhere else that you didn't want it to go. It is very hard to erase that. While I do find that there are many things we can undo in painting, that one is quite challenging. So to save you that stress, definitely wipe it off.
Actually, using the black right now is very satisfying.
Yes,
because like the edges were freaking me out. Like, how is this going to look clean?
Yes, yeah.
And so covering this with black is actually pretty nice.
Yeah, I like it as a final detail one because then you don't run the risk of putting your hand in it and then trying to paint over it, but also because it does give such a level of finish to anything, and you'll see it once we start doing some finishing touches in the center. It just brings things together so beautifully, and it's always the final step in anything. You've done one of the paint nights that we've done before, and when we added black at the very end, you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's what that's supposed to look like.
Yeah, it was so nice. That paint night was so, or it wasn't even a night, it was an afternoon with the ladies. Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, which is what is like your question before, like what types of events? Honestly, like people, all you need is a reason to want to see others or to be, especially even virtual. We did one for my sister-in-law's birthday party, and it was so awesome. And we, you know, sent everyone their supplies and, you know, got on Zoom and it was such a great evening just to be with everyone, even virtually.
So fun.
So
yeah.
It's a great way.
I could see myself doing this with my sisters, actually. That's actually a good idea. You just made me think. Because like I have 5 sisters and they all live in Chicago. And I'm sure that they all like they're just like with each other all the time. Yeah. And I'm just over here in Virginia, like, you know, especially with COVID, it's like, when will I see my sisters again? You know? Yeah, right. Like, and even with that, it's like, you know, one of them lived in Georgia for a little bit, and that was even harder because now there's 3 states, and, you know, it was hard to try to get everybody together, and then COVID, and so just doing a virtual paint night is like, you know, you can get all 5 sisters or all 6 of us together. Right. We can chat, we can, you know, do something nice together. It's private, so we don't have to be all, you know, in our, you know, covered forms. We're just with each other and Nippy and Fatmata.
It is a really, really lovely time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the time you can define and refine and do all the things.
Oh, the black is so nice.
Yeah.
The black is like stress be gone.
Right. Yeah. At this time, so if you are using an easel and your canvas is propped up, then this might be a good time to go ahead and also cover the edges with black as well, the edge of your canvas, because it does, at the end of it all, it's going to give it a really, really lovely finish when you don't have just the canvas peeking through. However, if your canvas is laying flat on a table, for example, which is the way I often paint, I'll be honest, especially if it's if we're at a larger paint night or something, most of them, if we're unable to do easels, it's on the tabletop. And in that case, if you feel comfortable on however it's set up, you can go ahead and either lift it slightly just so you can get to those edges, or save it for the very end. The last thing we want is to have paint on our fingers that then we touch the canvas with. But if you feel safe and comfortable, at some point, you can go ahead and just trim the edges of your canvas. I like to use black since that's what's already on the outer edges. And once you hang this up on the wall, it gives it such a more professional or polished look, for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to add my signature too, speak of professional.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yes. Yes, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
With a flourish made by Hakima.
So, all right. I love it. So right now, if you've already kind of gotten to that step, the next step, we're going to do a bit more shadow. And again, no cause for alarm here. We are going to do a slanted line towards the bottom left corner. The suspense was intentional.
And it was effective. I seriously was like,
so what we're going to do here, from where the ground and your initial, like the black meat, we're just going to do a sloped line. This in geometry is what we call a
diagonal.
Yes,
a hypotenuse.
And a cute triangle, if you will.
Okay.
Yes. So many different things. So we'll go ahead and fill that in again. Fill it in right into the black once you have that line. And you're like, what? Why? Why am I doing that?
Well, I don't question you. I only
well, this is where we need to trust the process. Yes, but once you have that diagonal line in place, while it is still wet, we are going to go in with the small brush, but we got to be quick before the black dries. And then we're just going to, from the bottom, I like working from the bottom, cover up my mistakes, and we're just going to blend that out. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going in from where the paint is wet, and I'm just going to drag it out. I'm not adding any new paint. I'm using the paint that's
I see. So it's not a stark line anymore.
Exactly. And you're moving really quickly. You're just, and then you should hear the canvas speaking to you. It's like,
yeah. It knows we're blending.
It does. The drier the brush, the better. Get these really faint.
Oh my gosh, I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
This effect. Wow. To make that diagonal line first was key for people like me.
Yes, because it blends it right in that direction.
Yeah, and then it also gives you a boundary, and then now proceed beyond the boundary. But if you had told me to just do this, I would have been a little bit less
Yes.
You know, less like, I don't know, sure of myself or something.
Yes. This
What
is
a great
working
teacher.
well. Oh, thank you. You're a great student, asking all the right questions, making great observations. And what I like to do is kind of like you said, I like to teach the skill sets, because while this is an effect, yes, we're using in this painting. However, if you now know how to blend, or you now know how to correct, you know, if you have a gap in the canvas, now this is a skill that you can apply to so many other forms of artwork that you might make in the future. So
Yeah.
it's always nice. Now, what you will see, and I know I see it for mine, is that because you borrowed some of that paint, you now need to go and kind of give it back. So with the same large brush, I haven't added any paint. This is from when we originally added this black color here. I'm just going to push the paint towards, not to exceed the strokes that we just made, but just push it in that direction. Gently nudge it over. Encourage it, if you will. Yep. And just to make sure that you don't have that stark, the canvas peeking through. That's all. So no new paint. Just let it kind of blend in and push the paint that's already existing on the canvas. Oh, you're so good. Hakima is coming out so well. Okay, wonderful. Now at this time,
I'm gonna quickly just grab my laptop charger. So
wonderful.
I'll remove myself just for a second. Oops.
We're still here. It's looking really good. I hope if you're doing this at home, I hope you're enjoying. So Hakima, just so you know, I'm down a headphone. So you let me know if you start to hear it echo, but the phone is charging. So that Instagram, you're still here, guys. Welcome. All right. Technology is a beautiful thing. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do, we're moving on with we are finally at the stage of using the detailed brush. So that can only mean one thing. We're almost there, guys. Hang in there. I hope you've been enjoying so far, learning a lot, really blowing yourself away with how exceptional your painting is coming out. But now we're at the stage for a few final touches. So I have my really fine brush. Look at that. Gorgeous. There it is. And we are going to be using black. Now, again, black is one of those things you want to have enough of it on your brush where you're not dragging a ghost line, if you will, but you also don't want to have too much that it kind of starts going in places that you don't want it to go. So we are going to be defining the shapes of the mosque and the minarets. And at this point, your paint in the center should be quite dry, which is why we took the time to do all of those other things, because you definitely want it to be as dry as possible for these next steps, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do, just to give you some experience, if you will, actually using the black and the fine brush, you're going to go ahead and take a dollop of your black paint on your brush. And then, as I did with the last time I used black, I'm just going to spin a little bit, spin my brush on the plate, like so. Like so, like that. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Here, I'm going to spin it like that. Just so, again, I have enough black paint, but not too much. So that's what I'm doing. Just rolling it in the paint. And what I'm going to do, we're going to define this line that separates the floor from the mosque. Okay, we had already originally drawn that line. So now we're just going to define it. So at this point, you do with a clean hand, just want to check, like double check, make sure that your canvas is in fact dry in these places, because for many of us, if you're drawing this laying down on a table or have an easel, you might need to brace your hand on the canvas, and you don't want to do that and pick up paint and transfer paint along the way. Yeah. So I often, to get as crisp and as straight of a line as I would like, might need to just brace my hand here. So hopefully you all can see, but we're going to go ahead and just draw that line all the way across. It might help for me to bring it towards myself just based on how I'm sitting.
Okay, Bismillah.
Indeed.
And we already had a purple line that we could actually use as a guide.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I see what you see. I just rested my fingers up there.
Yeah.
And now I have black on my fingers.
Oh.
Okay. I didn't have enough to keep going.
I like to test out how long I can hold my breath. I'm like, you feel when you're working with black for the details, you're like,
yeah. Like, remember to breathe. And you're like, oh, dang,
yeah.
I was not breathing.
Yeah.
Okay, my line is not straight, but life goes on.
Same. I was looking at it and I was like, you know.
But there's such a difference in like painting straight on than painting at an angle like we're doing, you know?
Yes, exactly.
So that's okay.
Thank you, Hakima. Thank you for making, yes.
You got this.
Yeah, that's why I was like, bring it towards yourself, away from yourself. I don't know. I don't know. The foundation was not stable. Okay. So yes, fight the urge to overdo it because I always, and then I'm like, bolder, bigger. And I'm like, no, that's enough. So once we have that foundational line, the next thing that we're going to do is start outlining the various shapes. So every shape is going to have its own outline. So feel free to go ahead and add that. Similar to what you said, Hakima, before, just making sure wherever you're placing your finger is in fact dry. So I always, just like to test that out. But go ahead and you can start. I think it might be wise for me to start on the outer edge and work towards myself, so I'm not running the risk of picking it up. But whatever feels comfortable for you all at home, please do that.
Sorry, I was having a mic issue where the Instagram audio was coming out of the phone instead of into my ear. So
Okay.
Can you just, man, it's still not working. I just hope it doesn't start to give an echo.
Okay.
Oh, it's working now. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to go.
Okay. So we're outlining each of these former rectangles and squares.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're going to become structures, identifiable buildings and spaces for people to gather, fellowship, pray, and commune. It's going to be fantabulous. Yeah, I'm running the risk again of making my lines too bold. So let's go.
I'm gonna wait to see if you go all the way down or you just go around. You're gonna go through all the way down
To the ground, but not through
to the ground.
Like there.
Okay.
Yeah. I will go around the minaret. I'm just saving it for last because my hand. I want to get the curve just right, but I'll be back to it.
Okay. And it helps to like keep your brush loaded.
Yes.
Okay. Because like I'm running out in the middle and then it's
then having to go back.
Yeah.
So the fine line, which is why it's nice if you load it because we're using a round brush, you can kind of almost spiral your brush and then it'll catch the paint that was on the other side that's also there. So you can do that as well as a way so you don't have to reload in the middle of one of your lines. But for the taller rectangles, it's hard sometimes to get it to make it all the way down.
Okay, I have to remember to inhale.
Same. I was doing
And I can't laugh or else my hand's gonna jiggle.
shake. Yeah. Sorry, I'm usually more like talkative and have so much to say about the process, but really I'm like, you just gotta do it. You just gotta.
Yeah, because this is like literally the defining moment. Okay. And I have to go. Okay, so you didn't go horizontally under your domes yet.
Yet. Yeah.
Okay.
My hand just had a rhythm of the up and down. I was like, just stick with it.
Yeah. So if you're on Instagram, tell us what you guys think so far. Of course, Fatmata is the pro and I am
Yeah.
the novice.
If you're
But I'm
having
actually getting prouder and prouder of mine as we go. And
ah,
this happened last time too,
yeah.
when we did a paint night
You see?
at your house.
Yes.
Because it's kind of like when you only have on foundation and you're like, okay, I don't think
This isn't gonna work. This is a good idea.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't think my face is gonna really work out right now. Then you like fill in your brows and then you're
Yes.
like, okay,
Oh,
things are
not
working
that
out.
bad. Yeah.
Okay, I have to bring my eyelashes back into existence. Okay, that
Right.
worked out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, that's fine.
Yes.
So this is
It's
it's
more
the
than
same
fine. It's
thing.
beautiful. And then you're like, Vogue, where's my cover?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like, where is my cover? All right. So now we're going to, well, if you did it in the same process that I'm doing it, now we're going to go ahead and outline the dome and then we'll add the separations up there as well. It is quite the experience doing this while it's on the easel.
So what are your Eid plans, my dear? Oh, she's muted.
Enter, but okay. So Eid plans. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
we'll be able to see family, and and do like a small, just our immediate family, and just to see so that the kids can see grandma and grandpa, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I think it's going to be small, similar to last year, maybe. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
hopeful that this year we'll do more like Zoom calls with some of my girlfriends and their children, just because I miss
Yeah.
those so much. Our mashallah, like our little tribe has just grown so much, and we used to
Mm-hmm.
love being able to bring the kids together so they can like see each other and play. And it's been
Mm-hmm.
hard not being able to have that. So I'm
Yeah.
hopeful we'll be able to do something.
Last Eid we did a unicorn party for the kids at home.
Oh, yeah,
And it was just, my in-laws that came over.
yeah,
And that already was a little bit like, oh my gosh, can in-laws come over?
yeah.
Like,
Right.
can we see Umi and Abu? That's what they call them. And then now, alhamdulillah, we're still doing a small gathering, but
Yes.
we've branched out to like, okay, the cousins that live in DC,
Right.
you guys can come too.
Yeah.
um, and then inshallah, we're going to have our family from Chicago. And I also have family in Georgia and then us from Virginia. We're all going to come together, inshallah, in June.
June, inshallah. Good.
And for the first time in forever. So
Right.
because of the vaccinations are everyone's pretty much inshallah going to be fully vaccinated by then,
Right.
and times are looking a little bit different. So alhamdulillah,
Yeah.
for Eid this time it's going to be a little bit more family. So
Okay. Awesome. And give me one moment.
So you're still on mute. You're still on mute here on StreamYard.
Hi.
Okay. Hi.
Okay. So finally, I just had to do the domes, and that took my breath away, literally. So I am back and trying to get through.
Oh, you know what? I was looking at my canvas here and I'm like, why does it look so different than here? It's because this is in the way. This has been, camouflaging. And I'm like, I literally have been taking double takes. I'm like, it doesn't look so bad as it looks here. It looks horrible there.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
And this has been.
Oh, and the bottle
Girl,
top there.
the
There,
bottle
that's what
top.
it is. Yeah. I was like, oh, she added a new structure at the bottom.
And you didn't even call me out. Like, what did you do over
that
there?
That one I knew until you took away the first bottle. Then I saw the bottle top and I was like, huh?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I didn't mess up that bad.
You see, guys, she's doing phenomenally. All right. So we are going to then add all of the other crosswise structures. So for the top of this one, I
forgot to do this.
I'm going to, wow. I'm trying to figure out how to, now that you've added black, now it's even more important to be cautious of where your hand is going, that you're bracing yourself with, because I use my pinky to brace here. And it's, creating some, I'm going to do a dome on top of the outer rectangles.
Oh. Just freehand like that?
Freehand just like that. And just the black. So
wait for you. Okay.
they're sisters and not twins on mine. Don't worry about that.
Okay. I know what that means.
Yeah. Huh? You say you do?
I said I know what that means. Sisters and not twins.
Yes. These are the eyebrows of the portrait. So then we're gonna go ahead and go straight.
Wait, I just got that.
Right. I'm just gonna go straight across here. So remember, we had done a square and then the dome on top. So I want you to kind of define where the square was for the center square.
Okay.
I'm gonna incorporate breathing exercises in this. So inhale in, draw a straight line, and exhale out. 2, 3, 4. Very nice. Good job, guys.
Oh, I can't wait to put this up. I'm gonna put it in the room.
I'm not going to say I picked these colors because I know that your garden room has similar colors in it. I'm not going to say that, but I'm not going to not say that.
Oh my gosh. No, this is definitely like goes with their actual bedroom, their classroom, everything. I tried to have like color themes that are not stereotypically female, like pink and purple, but then again, I just went with it. Who cares?
That's what we
it's
like.
Pretty.
Yeah,
it's pretty. Like. I mean, who am I trying to prove something different on to? I mean,
they're beautiful colors. All right. And then, so I'm adding the line across at the top of the 2 larger rectangles as well to frame that out.
Thanks, Hannah. My friend Hannah is here. She said it looks great.
Hi, Hannah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're trying. We're doing a great job, everybody. And at home, I know I can't see yours, but I am confident that if you stuck with us and you're working on this or you're watching it later, I'm sure you're doing a phenomenal job. And I just wanted to have a moment to be able to tell you that. All right, so we're going to keep going. You have your defined lines? Yes. So you're going to do the line under the minaret, like the straight lines across there.
Oh, completely forgot that. Deep breath in.
2, 3, 4. Whoo! Looks great. Look at you.
Girl.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Deep breath in.
There we go. And there you Perfect. Okay. So then we're going to add an entryway. So I'm going to find the center, maybe about an inch below there. So that's my first. Oh, you can't see that dot really, but it's there.
No, I can see it.
Okay. And then we're going to fan out and straight down. And then we're going to do a mirrored image on the other side and straight down. All right. And as always, we're going to then fill in the center.
Okay. So time check that it's like 45 minutes into the Instagram live.
Mm-hmm.
So in like 10 minutes, we'll just end it on purpose so you can actually save it.
Save it. Perfect.
And then we'll restart.
You're excellent at this. Yes, we could do that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and fill in the entry here.
Well, I'm glad that we actually are saving this second half more so than the first, because this is like the more exciting with the black. It all comes together with the black. So.
Right. If you're catching this Instagram and you're like, but I need to know how to prepare, it is also saved. And where can they find it, Hakima, afterwards?
You can find it on the A Continuous Charity Facebook page, A Continuous Charity YouTube page, and also Tima by FK on YouTube. It's streamed there. And also CMB by Hakima's Facebook page as well. Excellent. So you can find it in 4 different places. Very convenient.
Yes. And then I think I actually prefer them seeking it there, because if you had a point where you're like, I need to pause that and wait, I think it's so much easier to do it on that.
Yeah. Because you can be using your laptop, your iPad, whatever.
Yeah. All right. So we have that, which now makes it look like you can enter there. Like that's space. Yeah. So now everything else from here on out will be more embellishment oriented. So you take it as you will. I'm going to show you sort of the things that I am going to do to allow this to stand out here. I'm going to take some more black. I'm just rolling it on my mixing plate here just so I don't have too much excess on there, because I want this line to be really defined. So I'm going to do the little crescent moon that you often see at the top of many mosques. So I'm just going to do the beginning and then deep breath in. We're going to do the C, the moon, the crescent moon.
Okay, I'm only going to attempt it after you're done. The suspense.
It is so terrifying. I'm not even going to lie.
I think I'm just going to use a pen.
Yes. Oh, no. Come back. Come back to me. Hold on.
That's so cute. Okay, now I know I'm going to tilt it up towards the sky a little. I was just going to make it point horizontally, but I'm going to tilt it now.
I feel like oh no. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's the only thing I could hear in my head just now. Stop. Oh gosh.
I can't steady my hand right now.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm back. Back to being serious, everyone. Just note, you will get laughs with any of the paint parties that you invite me to.
Yes, laughs are for free.
Right. It's just meant to be a good time. Not taking ourselves too seriously. I myself made a little bit of a boo-boo there.
Okay. Did it.
Oh, great. Yes. So You could either extend that and do one on either side of the minarets as well, or just keep it in the center one. It's really up to you. I think I'm going to do the, I love when I see the, I'm not going to give it a great description, so I'm just going to show you instead.
Okay.
The really ornate, like
the kind of point.
Yes. So I'm going to do like 3.
Okay. That's easy enough.
Yeah. So I'm just using the top of the paintbrush to do like little circles. And then extending that up to a point. Oh, okay, breathe. Good. Yeah. And then often on top of some of the minarets, you'll see like additional arches and different things. So we are currently at, really it's just the embellishment stage, and you get to embellish it as much or as little as you'd like. Again, I always want to give individuals the option so that they leave with something that they're really, really proud of and excited about, and don't feel like, oh, I loved it just up until I did that thing that you told me to do.
Yeah.
Now I don't love it anymore. So with that being said, some of the things that I like to add to mine include, let's say, like arches up by the top. I just feel like the more ornate I can make it, the better I feel about it. So I'm going to go ahead and add these. Oh, it's almost like scallops, if you will. It's like scalloped edges here. But I will do it and then remove my hand to show you.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you've drawn.
Oh, nice. I see.
It's like that.
Very cute.
So it's almost like drawing a lowercase m, just many of them. You just keep extending the m. Little half circles all the way around. And then often
So just so we catch it and we don't lose time, go ahead and end the Instagram. We can start it again.
Yes. Bye-bye, everyone. We'll be right back. Join us again.
Okay. Oop. Did it save?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Now it took me to somebody else's. I didn't say I want to be in this person's live.
We see if you like the Fatmatas, we recommend this one.
I know. And then I'm just watching some guy play golf.
Okay, I'm just going to pull.
All the Mother's Day pictures are so cute. I want to share each one of them.
From where? Oh,
on Instagram. Everyone's sharing their, you know, either them with their mom or them with their kids. Mashallah.
Oh, okay. It posted. Okay, so now we're back.
Okay.
And we're going to continue on. Oh, yes. I'm going to wait for you to join me. So I'm not alone. I don't want to be alone here. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is part 3, but really part 2 of a continuous charity paint party. And I'm waiting and will be joined shortly by Hakima. And we are doing this phenomenal painting with a mosque scape, if you will, a scene of a mosque. Here we are. There we go. Okay. So we're just doing all the finishing touches. You can do as much or as little in this stage as you would like. Can
you show us your finishing touches on the finished one?
Yes.
Like the one that's done? Okay.
Yes. This is
I love that.
The magic of production. You always have a finished one hand in the back.
I know.
We've been baking this turkey for 5 hours. Here it is. Okay, so this is this one. Now I will say this: the lights, the lanterns,
Yeah.
are a tricky little bit. So we can we
Okay.
can omit those. It really is up to, because painting over black, regardless of the color, is very hard, which is why you see it's more gray. And then you kind of have to just like look away. But we can add the lanterns, like maybe up to the sky, sort of if they were draping around the arch, like as they're walking through, instead of in the alleyway.
Okay.
Since our canvas is smaller. But yeah, and then I went in with white just to add shadow and dimension, and then all the people going to the mosque. And the people are just circles and triangles with their abayas.
True.
Circles and triangles. Because it's very abstract. I mean, I don't want to draw portraits. I'm just drawing, you know.
Yeah.
So all
That's
it has
really
to be
good.
is person. So when the kids are making this, just tell them, see, really, it's just a triangle and a circle.
Yeah.
So those are the
very
finishing
cute. we got some kids in the room.
Yeah. Did you see the curtain open? That's how you can always tell someone's
I was like, ooh, that looks like a little baby.
You said 2 hours.
Okay, I can't wait to actually add in the flourishes. I'm trying to see what she did on those minarets. And I think adding in the white and the yellow really brings some like dimension to this and some light as if it's twinkling at Maghrib time. This is motherhood. This is motherhood. Oh, why did I just clean my black thing? I didn't know what to do. So I just cleaned my brushes. Like I just cleaned my brush and I'm like, why? Because I'm using black right now.
Yes. So all of the details, I think, as you pointed out, the yellow. And do you have yellow? Did you get yellow?
I do have yellow.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to add some of my yellow to my palette because I do agree. I think it adds, instead of just the white by itself, it does make it give like the twinkle of light when you have the white and the yellow, which is really nice.
I'm gonna continue using the good paint.
Yeah.
Because it really showed up very well with this black.
It makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
So on here, depending on how much or little you want to do as far as embellishments on the actual structures, like I said, you can go ahead and do more or less. Like you can add a little entryway, but not fill it in on the smaller rectangles. It's really up to you in terms of defining it. I like to leave it open-ended, but I think those can all be really nice touches to it at the end. There we go. You ever look at something that just makes you smile? I'm like, oh,
this is so beautiful.
So then we'll do people on their way. Like,
okay,
did the Adhan call yet?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. They're literally rushing in because the Adhan is being called, and they're hungry, and there's fruit trays and samosas. So your Instagram, I think, is paused. Oh. I don't know if is a call coming in. It's still paused. Oh, she did make the circle and a triangle. 2 circle triangle people. Okay, I'm just gonna do that. circle and triangle. So you're muted on StreamYard, just so you know. I didn't know if you still wanted to
Thank
be.
you all. Yes. So we're back. So Instagram Live, I think we're gonna have to. It had to end there, unfortunately, unless you're able to join us back. But the phone is out of commission at this time, so we're gonna continue here, and then we'll show them our finished products over on Instagram.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
All right, and then keep going. My people are so much smaller this time. It's like, look at all these, but it's to show the grandeur.
It's a circle. It's a circle
Yes.
and a triangle, and then are there arms?
So I didn't
Arms
add
and legs.
arms to my original one, but I do have like some two little poses legs. They're my people. It's very figurative, you know, and very abstract. So that's a person.
So cute.
I think some of these things, when it's more whimsical and it's more abstract, you feel like it's more approachable. But yeah, if you want to add arms to your person,
and there's no way in life I would have been able to draw a person anyway.
No,
that's
way.
what that's like.
No, if I would have told
that's
you,
what I think.
If we would have begun and I would have been like, Hakima, let's make this, you would have been like, just put it away. We're not making that. But what squares and shapes you did, you are absolutely able to do it.
I'm just going to tell my kids that this is me and them going to the masjid.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So then from there to add, if you want to do a lantern, I will at least demonstrate how the lanterns are done, just for anyone who would like to do one. And the way we're going to do that, you'll go on. I like to use the medium brush just because the width of it is almost perfect for what it is that we want to do in the shape. So you go ahead with the medium brush again, and I'm going to take the white paint.
I'm just going to add their dad anyway.
Yes.
Because they're going to be like, where's daddy? And I'll be like, oh, dang it, I forgot.
He's inside. He's leading prayer. We're trying
to he's the imam. Good spin on it, actually. That's a good spin.
No, but that's good. Yes, add that there.
Okay, he'll be a triangle and then 2 rectangles because he doesn't have it on abaya. Okay, sorry. I'm a little bit behind now because I've decided to put the family in. Okay, there's Dad. Okay, so now we're taking our bigger brush and we're getting white.
Yes, so we're using white on the medium-sized brush.
Okay.
And then you're just using the width of it to make a rectangle about 1 inch long.
I'm going to try for this tempera paint.
Okay.
Do I have white? Yes. Because I think I won't be using a lot of it, right? Just like little blotches of it.
Very little.
Okay. Okay. We've got our squares or rectangles.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So now that I just did 2,
Mm-hmm.
I am, let's see. I could always, I will, as the teacher, I will go ahead and test it out for everyone to see if I feel comfortable putting it in the box. Okay, that worked out.
Yes, oh. Yes. I think 2 hours is the limit.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. My husband was like, I thought you said 2 hours. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna do what you did then. I'm gonna put the white.
Yeah, mine actually, it didn't mix in, so I think I had enough time for it to dry all the way. So go ahead and do the same thing. And I did mine a little bit lower because for perspective, this would be closer to you than the ones that are out there high in the sky. Okay, so now that you have
mine are all in a row, so
all right, that's fine.
I'll just make it a little bigger.
Yes, bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then what I would do is add a dollop, like a really small smidge, to the paintbrush, right on top of that yellow. And then I'm going to add it to the center and kind of work it in just to warm up the white a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to work it in, especially where you have it on top of the black. You don't want to work it in too much because then you'll start mixing your black paint and make it gray. We don't want that. But you just want there to be more warmth to it. And it really does then give it the lantern-like feel once we add the other details to it.
Okay.
Warm glow.
All right.
Awesome. And then once you have that, then we're switching over back to the detail brush, fine brush. And then we are going to outline it and make it an actual lantern, which is going to be really cool. So what I first do there, I think I might be able to finish so Instagram knows how it all went. All right, so I'm going to add us again. I'm a little bit faster at this now, Hakima. You've taught me new things.
You're welcome. You'll be going live daily now.
Right. All right, so assalamu alaikum. This is the final part of the A Continuous Charity Paint Party. So thank you all for joining us. I'm going to wait for Hakima to join us on here as well. And we are going to continue. So really, we're just doing the final touches. So if you've been watching and got to see part 1 or are on StreamYard or were able to catch it on any of the YouTube channels, either a Continuous Charity or my channel, then you'll be able to kind of see how we got here. But we're just at finishing touches and it feels really good. So we have just added our white rectangles with a little bit of yellow accent in there to make sure that it really does give that warmth and glow of a lantern. And now we have our detail brush, our fine brush, and we are going to start adding the details to actually make it look like a lantern. So something to take note of, because that paint is still very fresh on there, you'll find that if you try to like outline on top of it and over it the way that we're going to want to do, it's going to want to bleed and do some things that we probably don't want. So the best thing to do, I have found in this scenario, is to go around it. You sort of want to outline as if you're outlining around the shapes instead of right through it initially. So let's start with the ones that are in the center. So for example, what I'm going to do, and I want to put my hand in a way that you can see, I'm going to outline above the straight line across, down the side. And then anytime you start picking up the yellows or the whites, have your napkin nearby that you can kind of wipe it off a little bit so it doesn't start interfering with what you're doing. Do another straight line down, and then a straight line across. Even if it doesn't encapsulate the whole thing, it's absolutely fine. It's a lantern. You won't see that detail once we add everything. Then I want to do a triangle on top. And down below. And then we'll add the lines within that just to make it look more diamond-like. Lantern coming together. And then we will do the next one. Again, all of this, we're just trying to give the center a bit of time to dry before we put those lines through the center of it. So we'll do everything else first. If ever your paints start mixing, go ahead, wipe it off on your brush, and then reapply.
And then on the black ones, what color are we still using? Black on the black, the ones that are on the black border?
Yeah, so those ones you'll see, we'll start it a little bit closer to the actual color to get the definition. But let me show you that one. Okay, I feel good about that. Again, that's one of those where you have to remember to breathe. So what I'm going to do for the ones in the black actually is the same way that we have the peaks on these. I'm going to add that. I haven't added any additional paint to my medium-sized brush, but the paint that was previously on there, I'm going to use that to sort of just create those peaks, because we're going to need that, as you mentioned, because it's black on black. We're going to need that to actually show it so that it's defined. So you want to sort of create those peaks with the brush. And I'm just using, again, the width of the brush and pulling it, drawing it upwards at an angle. So it does the work for me and I don't have to necessarily draw. But I'm putting it on the canvas as a slant and pulling it down. Putting it on the canvas as a slant and then pulling it down, and doing that on both sides. So there it is. So now when we go over that and outline it with the black, you'll start to kind of see that a little bit. So again, drawing the horizontal line across. Horizontal lines across.
Okay.
So for all finishing touches, you always have the option to do it, to add more, to do less. And I always like that, just because I know that they can be daunting. Sometimes it's a lot. And if you're happy with your piece at any point and you're like, you know, I like it on hers, I don't know, I always say it's best to give it a try, even if you do it on your paint palette, right? Like on your paper plate as a tester, and then see, do I like that? Do I feel like it's gonna come out the way that I want? Or maybe I want to keep it simple and I don't want to add that. So I always like giving people the option, because I want you to be happy with your final piece for sure.
Oh, I forgot to outline the sides. It is so amazing that you just taught me how to do this. like it's actually so incredible that this is my canvas.
That's awesome. See? Yeah. And then, so I do usually about 2 vertical lines in the center, like to frame the center, to make it look more lantern-esque, like that. And that usually will make it just be a more believable lantern. Everything that's happening on the right side of my canvas, just excuse that. My hand is just so far from my body that it is not listening like the instructions I'm giving it. By the time it gets to my fingertips, it's like, I didn't listen. So just excuse all marks and things that have happened on that far side of the canvas. But trust me, if you are facing, I just don't want to block the canvas, so I'm not getting in front of it. But these are the steps where you really want to be up close and personal with your canvas. And then you could be intricate. I made a little mistake here with mine, but I'm just going to create that into a feature. Okay, so I made that little line, didn't mean it.
Own it.
What I'm going to do is just going to make some more lantern-esque vibes here. The little hatch action. That looks gorgeous. I like that.
Okay, that works.
For that.
Oops. Oh my God, I just painted my laptop.
Well, now that we're mirroring everything, now that side has to have it too. So. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to add a little more yellow because I want it to be more vibrant. And I'm feeling like I can do something on my own right now.
Yeah, this is the time. If you want to add birds flocking.
Oh, the birds are coming to the masjid. Yes.
Do so many things at this time. That's my favorite part is when, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's moments when I wish I could. Well, I'll send you their reaction kind of separately so I can show you their full face. I'll just make a little video of their reaction of this. No, you go ahead. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
So I was going to say my favorite parts of these sessions are often when we get to the final touches and individuals, you start seeing their personality come through because they were able to execute and do the, what the piece is supposed to be, I guess, for lack of better words. And then they get to add their own creativity and make it their own. And that's my favorite part for sure. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying that. So now these lanterns aren't just floating on their own. So what we're going to do is sort of just add a ribbon in the sky for our love, if you will. But yeah, so I'm just going to do something like that. And we're just going to add little chain links.
Oh my God. I wasn't even thinking that. I thought it would be hanging like from the top, Yeah. This is so much cuter.
Just like that.
I really wanted this to be like a thin, dainty line.
Same. And I was like, chains. Mine became like... Yes, but if you're just joining us, I hope you will go back and watch on the YouTube channel for A Continuous Cause, for Hakima CMB, for Fatima by FK, for Tima by FK, so that you can get caught up, get your supplies ready, and create this amazing mosque-scape with us. I have loved instructing. At this point, again, everything is sort of up to the individual of how much or how much more they want to do. I said birds, so I'm just going to go and do my little ones.
Yes, and I think I'm going to add... I think I'm going to add to this chain link. I'm going to add some, you know how there's little lights, the little twinkling lights that are kind of on that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to add like little.
I love it.
Little yellow dots.
I want to join you. So I'm going to clean out my detail brush to do that, just so they're really fine. So I just cleaned out from the black. Oh, I love that idea. See, see what I mean? This is the power. I'm going to start with white, and then I'm going to add the yellow to the center just to give it a glow. But I love that idea.
Oh, how nice. What a nice Ramadan gift
Right.
to have this little painting in the house. How cute is that? And then the scalloped edges that we put here, we can add white or yellow to that too.
Yes, you
Like
can.
this.
So
Okay,
it's like, yep.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Oh my gosh, it
So
just brought it to life. Yeah.
yeah, we're coming up on 2.5 hours. So we'll just do like 10 more minutes of this,
Yes.
of the last detailing.
Yeah. And then we'll wrap up.
Yep.
So, which other could you tell everyone about your experiences with some of the other programming that you all have done this month? Was this your first year with ACC doing these types of Ramadan programs?
Yes, actually, I just started working for ACC right before February. So it was January of this year. So
Yeah.
I'm the one of the newest team members, and I was just really enthusiastic about their educational justice program, very enthusiastic about it. And already kind of knowing that I loved ACC, but I kind of loved it from afar because I didn't know that there was like a role that I could actually play to impact the organization. And it's actually it's a lesson to me actually because it could be a lesson to anyone who's listening, because when you really support something, just ask how you can support it even more.
Yeah.
You know, like how can you really throw your weight behind it? So when I saw the educational justice program, it kind of aligned with some work I was doing with Launch Good already.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, well, I will promote the educational justice program as a part of Launch Good's influencer program that they had. And then when ACC saw that I was what the kind of content that I created to promote the educational justice program, that's when they were like, "Hey, do you want to kind of join us full force?"
Yes.
And I was like, "Yes, I actually always wanted to do more with ACC or to help solve this student loan problem because of my own personal experience." And so, but I didn't know when was the right time. I was working as a biology professor. I was doing this and that. And I also homeschool my kids. Like, is this really the right time? Or do you even need my help? Or like whatever it is. And here we are. Like now I'm the outreach and partnerships coordinator and I'm doing this programming. So as a person who already creates content online for fashion and style, it was already something that I wanted to do to use social media to bring in, people's awareness about amazing things. And so as a part of ACC, of course, I really wanted to get online and tell people about things in a fun way. Like sometimes when you're talking about debt and interest and cycling toxic, like it's just very like, oh my God, like financial drain, And so when you can just do something fun like this, but also be bringing awareness and tell people to donate actually, and I haven't done that this whole 2.5 hours yet, but I do want to show, at least on the stream, that you can donate to my personal campaign, which doesn't benefit me financially anyway. It's just a link where you can donate. It's launchgood.com / Hakima ACC, and it's going across the screen. And it's also the link in my donate here on Instagram. Awesome. But please donate to ACC. We have done this programming. We've done fundraisers. We've done story times. We've done all of these things. And I'm happy, so happy and thrilled and enthusiastic to be a part of it. But I also would love if those who are here watching the replay, we have a few more days of Ramadan. If you can please add your money to this, your donations to this link. My goal at the beginning of Ramadan was 5K. We are above 1,000, haven't gotten to 2 just yet, but whatever donations, no matter how small, they benefit students. And that's really what I aim to do. So even if I only got to $50, that's $50 more. So alhamdulillah for what we have, but we have a few more days before Eid and this campaign ends. So I would really love for you to donate to ACC. Alhamdulillah, ACC is doing really well with growth. So since last year, our growth has really gone up. The more and more people support, the more students can be benefited. So that's really the perk, the one big perk.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that, because I think it's an area, I think the more that we are told in a culture or in a society that student debt is okay, it's the best type of debt to have, and we sort of normalize that. You don't want to have students necessarily fall into that trap. It is a really vicious cycle, and we would love for our young people, when they finish and they graduate, to really feel like they can start making an impact in beautiful and meaningful ways in the community. And it's so much easier to do that when they're not bombarded, plagued with that debt. Even looking at it at a religious standpoint as well. So I love that cause, and I hope that those who are able to definitely see that link, go visit your page, and are able to make those donations. But I love what we do. Look at what we do.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love
And
it.
now I
I
just
won't
want to
even
add
add a
lights
single other
everywhere.
flourish. Yeah, the lights just like it really went from like a 9 to a 10 at this point.
Really good. So now is the time, Hakima, where you can add those initials onto your piece. I am going to go in the left-hand corner here and just add my initials. But I always leave that to the very end. I'm like, are you happy with it?
I am thrilled.
Things. Yes.
I'm thrilled. My HC is right there.
There we go.
I still have to add black on this side, but I didn't get a chance to do that border. Mm-hmm. But I'll do that afterwards, because that's something I have to get up and go around it.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Fatmata, for your time, for your talent, for your enthusiasm, for your skills as a teacher, as an artist, as a multifaceted woman of 2021. We are here for it.
You're so kind.
Yes, because this is actually just one side of you, of all of the things that you are, mashallah. So thank you so much for doing this for us. I really hope that on the replay, people do this and they show us their finished product.
Please.
Would love to see that.
What's the hashtag, Hakima?
Oh gosh. Okay.
ACC.
So
hashtag
hashtag paint with ACC. I really hope that people do this, and I'm definitely going to take some pictures and post it on my little Instagram and show the world what Fatmata did with us today.
Yay. Excellent. So go donate, do something wonderful. May we all receive the blessings of this beautiful month of Ramadan, inshallah. And if you do decide to donate, may Allah increase you just tenfold and exponentially for that donation, and put more where it came from. But yeah, this was such a beautiful way to spend the morning. Watch the replays, get your supplies. I think this turned out really nice. I'm very happy. And I love yours, Hakima. I can't wait for that.
Thank you.
I like that you have the big and little. It's so perfect. Yes.
All right, Fatmata. I'll see you, and Ramadan Mubarak, early Eid Mubarak, and thank you again so much.
My pleasure. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum salam.